going to be these two teams and maybe a couple others that surprise us down the stretch, but the first chance we get to see the Royals and Guardians tangle in 2025.
And attached to that somewhat, Detroit is also a team up and coming, and some have picked them to win the division. The Royals also won that season series, even though it was a little dicey at the end when Detroit came to town and swept the Royals. Kris Bubic will make the start today for the Royals. And for Cleveland, it is right-hander Ben Lively, a one-time Royal. Cleveland really only has a few of their regulars coming over from nearby Goodyear, including their shortstop Brian Rocchio, who is getting ready to step in against Kris Bubic.
Harvey at the back end of the bullpen too.
Here's the 2-1, and Manzardo hits a ground ball off of first, and it kangaroos up into the sky and lands past Salvador Perez, second base. But that'll be an infield single off of the bag for Kyle Manzardo. Another 3-2, swinging a ground ball off of third, and that kangaroos over Wilson and up the left field line. And Bobby makes the turn. 2 ground balls off of bags and 2 kangaroos, and it's not even 1:20 yet in Surprise, Arizona.
Well, good day for Bobby Witt Jr. He'll take it.
Must be all the Fosters that all college pitchers, and it looked like they were going to be the top 3 with the Guardians forever. Line caught by the shortstop Rocchio, and Jr. thought it was going to go through, so he was going to double play. 6 unassisted to put an end to the Royals' bottom of the first inning. So 1 degrees on Friday, and then it'll start warming up again. Here's the pitch to Arias, and he hits it up into the glare. Freddie Fermin runs to the screen. He gets rid of the mask. He is at the base of the backstop and brings it down for the out. That was great concentration. And as we have told you time and time again, there are no routine outs in the air in Arizona, especially on a day like today. Confusing people his entire life. Your name's not really Will Wilson, is it? Will Wilson hits one high and deep into left field. The wind grabs it, and it is gone over the grass berm. That surprised him, who hit the ball hard and high to left field. Did not end up with a home run, but that ball was hit hard, high into that thin air with the wind blasting out to left, and Cleveland leads 2-0.
All right, for those wondering, what will Wilson do? The answer is hit a home.
Began the year 17-6 off the end of the bat, and a fly ball is up the left field line, hooking, and it stays fair by a foot. Played in left field base with a 1-out double. So it was the right pitch by Lively because Freddie was off balance, but it stayed up, and Freddie was able to just reach out and hook it up the left field line. And the Royals, for a second straight inning, have a 1-out double. And here's Kevin Bitt. And the pitch is swung on line to the first baseman Manzardo. He'll throw down to second, but Freddie's back in time. And that's the line into a double play with a runner at second base. That's how the first inning ended, when Benny Pasquantino lined into a double play.
String injury. And the pitch swung out and missed, strike 3. That was a Bugs Bunny kind of changeup from Michael Lorenzen. Rodriguez is down swinging. 2 outs now in the top of the 4th. And that brings up Angel Martinez. Royals down 2-0, top of the 4th inning. Base is empty with 2 outs now. And the infield shades to the right side. Lorenzen delivers. And Arias pokes it in the air to straightaway right field. Gavin Cross sprints back. He's at the track, turns around. It's off the wall. Cross plays the carom, fires to second. And Arias is in there still. Arias. It brings up Jonathan Rodriguez. Royals have made some changes, but just to finish the eye. Lorenzen delivers, and Rodriguez bounces this one fair this time. Lorenzen, or rather India, scoops it up.
I think when you try and find out why some guys are stuck around 75 to 80 every year, and what guys find a way to get to 100 every season.
Michael Lorenzen kicks and delivers. Fastball laced towards second base. A one-hopper. Tolbert knocks it down. Recovers. Throws to first in time for the out. Inning over. How fresh into the game, the ball will find you. That is one of the old adages of the sport. That ball certainly found Tyler Tolbert. It was a rocket from Will Wilson's bat, but Tolbert was up to the out in the field now. Here's the pitch. And India flicks it through the right side, a base hit into right field. Leadoff single for Jonathan India, his first hit of the day.
Third base number 2, Jose Edwards. Second base number 70, Pond, Frias. Shortstop number 73, Jorge Salvez, and Glenn Moore.
Returning at first base number 36, Harold.
And now Harold Castro comes into the game to pinch run. Also a new catcher. The pitch. Witt bounces it back up the middle. Shortstop Valdez dives, gloves, flip to second in time for the out. That's a pretty fresh into the game. He robs Witt of a hit and gets India.
How did you feel out there today?
I felt good. Body felt good all 3 innings. I think once you do it for a second time, getting the 3 ups in, your body adapts to it. So from the durability standpoint and the physical standpoint, I feel good. Stuff felt consistent all 3 innings. I would like to get ahead a little more often in the count, which has kind of plagued me the last 2 outings, especially getting ahead with spin, which I haven't done very well, to be quite honest, the last 2 outings. But still not getting great swings outside of the homer today. But overall solid. But I know there's more crisp outings in the future.
What's the key to being able to get ahead? Is there something that you can tweak in between, or is it just mindset kind of thing?
Yeah, I think it's more mindset than anything. With the 2 breaking balls now, trying to have both, I think, in the same outing has been, I'd say, challenging, but maybe a little more inconsistent, because throw a good one, throw a bad one, throw a good one, throw a bad one. So I think just the mentality of just trying to hit the big part of the zone early in the count, instead of having to fall behind guys. It just puts me in a better spot as I go deeper into games. We were fortunate to get some quicker outs today, even when we did fall behind. So it didn't plague us today, but it's not something I want to get in the habit of doing. But yeah, I think just targeting the big part of the zone. It was my mindset kind of going all through last year, especially in the relief role. As a starter, okay, maybe you kind of pick your spots against certain guys, but still, count leverage, never goes away regardless of the role. So.
Did you throw the slider a lot last year as a reliever? Were you more heavy on curveball or vice versa?
Yeah, so I never threw a curveball last year. So in my head, the bigger breaking ball was a slider last year.
Okay.
I'm thinking about changing the names of those, because the small one's not really a cutter and the big one's kind of a depthier slider. But yeah, so that's the one I relied on last year, was the depthier slider. I didn't have the small slider. I threw it a little bit on my rehab assignment, but once I got up with the team, it was four-seam, the big slider, and then the changeup. And I mixed in a little bit of sinker towards that last month. But yeah, like I said, I think having that 5-pitch mix definitely helps mitigate a lot of contact, because, like I said, outside the homer, the contact's been minimal. Still not getting great swings, and I think it'd be even better if you get consistently ahead of guys to make my life a little bit easier.
I was going to ask, is there a challenge to making sure you have all 5 pitches working now that you are in a starter role?
Yeah, I think it's a balance. I think in between outings, kind of picking what I want to work on, because you get in a bullpen setting, you throw 5 pitches. Let's say you throw 5 pitches of each pitch type. That's 25 pitches in a bullpen right there. So I think trying to be a little more selective for me. I think the consistency will always come down to the breaking balls, both of them, landing them for strikes, getting 2-strike chase on it, and just getting weak contact on it as well. So that's been the emphasis for me in between outings so far this spring, and until I feel like I've got that to a level where I'm comfortable with, it'll probably continue to be something I work on. But yeah, it's a little different, but at the end of the day, just making sure everything kind of, all the movements stay kind of where they're at, instead of blending, which we've done a good job of that so far, and just utilizing the right pitch types to each hand hitter. So.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
If it's 70+% strike rate, is that,
Yeah.
are you happy with that?
Really happy. That's one thing I've been most satisfied about this spring, is being able to fill up the zone with everything. My shapes are really good. I would have liked to finish. Some guys, I had a lot of 1-2 counts because I'm throwing a lot of strikes. So to be able to convert those into balls that aren't put in play would be nice.
Yeah. How do you take in spring training results? You had a little bit of traffic on the bases today, but like you said, I mean, strike throwing, your pitch shapes are looking good.
Yeah.
How do you kind of evaluate that?
So you want to, spring training is good and it's a way to explore. You don't want to get into the season and be caught off guard with, I'm in the 6th inning they pinch run with somebody on first base who's really fast in a 1-run game, and then now that's your first exposure to needing to slide step, needing to change looks, needing to speed up your arm and make pitches. So, like today I had somebody on first who's pretty fast, which, I just tell myself this is a big situation. He's trying to steal second. And you just kind of play different situations like that in your head, and it's going to be my first time since last season doing that, since the playoffs, of needing to keep a guy on first base. So it's not going to be perfect, but I need my first time of doing that situational pitching to be here in spring training.
Yeah, so it's almost like pretty nice. He has some traffic out there on a game that doesn't really matter much.
Yeah, and I could have ignored him, and I could have just tried to make my pitches and try and strike the guy out and feel good about myself. But I'm like, no, I need to get my body feeling like what the timing feels like, to work quick, to have that stress of this guy's trying to steal on me, to pick off.
Yeah.
And so, it was a good day.
Yeah. And then just coming out of the bullpen, I wonder for you, as a starter, are you clearly okay with that, or is it just a matter of being on the schedule for that that day, being able to come out of the bullpen today instead of start?
Yeah, I played it like it was a start. I played the 4th inning like it was the 1st inning, just because you want to get in a routine of, just doing that, your warm-up and all of that. So the more times that I can do that, the better. And during spring training, it doesn't always work out perfectly, so you have to kind of create this mental picture in your head that, that the 4th inning was the 1st inning, and it's not perfect, but you do the best you can.
Yeah. And then in terms of your pitch shapes for right now, about halfway through spring training, 2 weeks-ish to go for opening day, how do you feel with them?
The shapes are great.
Yeah.
The shapes are great, especially for being in Arizona in the thin air. Out here, the sweeper's catching, so it's moving a lot. The curveball's moving a lot, which generally is tough to do out here. So I'm really happy about that. The changeup shape is good. And obviously the fastball command has been really good, and that's why I'm able to throw so many strikes. So I'm happy about it. Gave up some hits on the sweeper today, so I'm going to go back and look at, what, if it was location, if it was shape. They seemed like they were good pitches, so maybe they just weren't set up right, or, I'll figure it out.
Yeah. So from what we have available, it seemed like there was a break was kind of close to what you did for last year. So I was just wondering, for that pitch in particular, how you felt with it.
Yeah, it feels good. I don't necessarily like the swings that I'm getting on it, but we'll look. That's something that we look at, and we'll figure it out. Yeah.
Which I did this morning. I forgot to ask you about Avila in those roster cuts. I just wonder what impression he made this camp.
Great impression. I mean, he's physical. He was great composure. He was a sponge with learning from not only from the coaches but the other players. And clearly, he's got a huge arm with really good stuff too. So there's a lot to be excited about.
I know he probably needs a little, more time in AAA. Obviously, just only getting one start there last year. What do you hope to, hear about his AAA experience this year, and how do you think he might be able to help you?
Well, I think all those guys, when they first go to AAA, it's about making every bullpen, every start just as important as they think these outings are, or the big league outings are, because you never know. You're on the roster and something happens, we're going to go with whoever's ready, and hopefully that development is quick for him. And he's got a power arm. You could see him in the back end, but you could also see him as a really good starter.
What stood out to you today about Bubic's outing?
He was getting a lot of weak contact. I mean, the one pitch for the home run, but he looked like his stuff was good. He was keeping him off balance. I'm not sure where that pitch was exactly, but he looked really good.
Lorenzen has seemed pretty happy with his strike throwing this spring, just being able to fill it up. Is that kind of your assessment of him so far?
Yeah, I mean he knows what he's doing. I mean I think the first thing was a little uncharacteristic for him. He looked like he got out of whack a little bit and was running off. Maybe he was a little out of sorts for whatever reason. But the second 2 innings were more what we would expect.
And he actually seemed to, I don't know if "like's" the right word, but appreciated having some traffic to work on, holding runners, things like that. Was that part of spring training for guys like him?
Yeah, I mean that's realistic, right? I mean I'd rather have no traffic, but
sure. Ever.
yeah, exactly. But no, for sure. I mean that's part of the game. We know you're gonna have to hold runners and control. He's a good fielding pitcher too.
I know India has a past at third base, but is it encouraging with how he's looked out there?
He got tested today. A lot of range plays. Yeah, for sure.
Seems like he has just been like everything you could ask for hitter-wise. I mean, on base constantly. I know he hit the double play today, but just the pitches that he's seen. Is anything surprised you?
His at-bats have been phenomenal. I've been really in awe of what he's done. I mean, he takes the balls, he swings at the strikes, he doesn't chase, he hits the ball hard. He's done everything we could have hoped.